This is CEO speaking. In the latest video, the number 17, we checked our 5 lights. We don't need them today, we leave them away. We also checked our fan, and this is why we put a sticker on it. The flow goes out, so in the moment we're going to use it, we're going to feel the flow, knowing it's working. Today we're going to wire the power, the emergency switch, and the power supply. So we can start about that. First, we're going to prepare our power cord. So for the power cord, we need to attach to it 2 spades, 2 connectors. We strip it out on both sides, like this. We make sure there are no whiskers. Then we pick up our crimping tool. And now I'm taking 2 such connectors. We crimp one at a time. We put it here because if you take a look on the other side, the red color says if the insulation is red, you put it here, not here, not here. These are blue and yellow. So now I pick 1 wire at a time. Actually, maybe better, we remove the cover from this one, and because the wire is going to enter in, it's going to be a bit easier if we do like that. So we replay the operation now. We pick up the wire, we plugged it into the crimping tool, we squeeze, 1 is done. We check, it doesn't come out. We have 1 more. We prepare our spade, we put it here, we place the wire in. If it doesn't, it's because it has some whiskers remaining. Have to be careful about that. Okay, and then we have this one done. So far so good. Now, as you notice, our emergency switch, you can put it like this or like that, it won't actually matter. But you're going to notice some numbers placed here. This one on the right, in the bottom it has 1 1. Here it has 1 2. So 1 1 is like, let's say, the input, 1 2 the output. Just to make sure, we check it first with our ohmmeter, because some people may believe that the contact is made between these 2. So if you just put it here, nothing is going to happen if you press it. Okay? So actually the contacts are between 1 1 and 1 2 right here. Don't know if the meter can be seen. So 0 ohms. When you press it, it goes open, overload. We check the other one as well because it's the same story. Between 2 1 and 2 2 is 0 ohms. You press, it opens. So that's how we're going to make the connections. It doesn't matter which is which. You are going to place them one by one. So what do we need for that? A Phillips screwdriver is going to be good enough. So we place 1 here, 1 here, now they stay in place. However, there is a little tricky thing here, because the power supply, the one I have, when it came, it wasn't having a very clear notation on the body. I put a sticker here. This is the neutral and this is the line. Here is the entrance in the power supply. On the other side, you're gonna have DC voltage, positive and negative. The same story. They didn't put a right notation here. It's actually, they put it, but it's not very visible. So I put my own sticker. The trick about the input, the line and the neutral. if your cable is already polarized because one of the legs is a bit larger than the other, the larger leg for an American outlet is always the neutral. Okay? How do you find the neutral? It's easy to check. However, I'm giving you the information. If you just watch along the cable, you're going to find that one of the wires is marked. You have some marking here on the wire. So I hope it's visible. This marking on the wire, I put my finger on it, is this contact right here. This is the line. So the line is the narrower outlet. Let's check it. So if it is the case, between this one, which is narrower, and this, we're going to have conduction or no conduction. So this one right now, I'm checking it again. You see, is the other one. This one here. This one here in the bottom should be this one, the narrower one. You see? That's the line. So why is that important? Because if it is polarized, this neutral has to reach here. So at this moment, we check it again. That's the one which is the line. So the neutral is going to be this one. So because it's this one, I'm going to go on the other side, is 1, 2. So 1, 2 is going to be the neutral. What does it mean? I'm going to prepare 2 other wires. In the Canadian electrical code and the American one, the neutral is white and the line voltage is black. Okay? So then I'm going to prepare both because we still need to put the spade connectors on the wire. So I'm going to pick up 2 of them as we did before. By doing it several times, you won't hurt. We just become more comfortable doing it. So one is done. The second one. See? So we said the 1, 2 is the neutral. So here I'm going to put the white one because it's going to come in the neutral of the power supply. This is done. Now I'm going to put the black on the other side. This one is the hot wire. It's coming right here. Okay, so then we drag the wires out of the box, both of them. So the nice thing about it is going to be we can even close the box after that. If the wires can stay inside, we can have the box closed. Okay, so with the 4 screws right here, we pick up a screwdriver and we can close the box. Okay. And we can do even more. To not have these wires coming loose here, this is why they provided us a little mechanism. If you just squeeze it, the wires won't move anymore. Okay, so you have your power cable going out, and now you have the 2 wires coming here to the supply. We don't need them that long. Didn't cut them in advance because I wanted to make sure they are gonna be cut at the size. So now we can have them cut at the size, both, just like this. And This time, if you take a look on these ones, we're going to put other kind of connectors. We put ferrules, so we strip out a bit longer than before. Okay, and now we're gonna press the ferrules inside. One is here. We have the ferrule crimper. One is done. We're gonna place another one. So the second's here. So this moment we know that the white is the neutral, so the black is going to be the hot wire. And now we place them in. And that's exactly the purpose of the red insulation here, to make sure that there is no chance these wires are going to touch each other. So we have now the cable coming into the emergency stop and coming here. To make sure, we're going to do one last check. We use our multimeter. Now we pick up the neutral and we put it here. We touch the neutral. Take a look. 0. Making the meter more visible. Okay, 0. If we press, overload. Okay, 0. Overload. We check now the other one, so to make sure that the connections are right. Okay, 0, overload, 0, overload. So everything fine. So far so good. We finished connecting the input of the power supply. Now for the output of the power supply, we're gonna use these two short wires. One is a kind of orange, is going to be for the positive 12 volts. The black one is going to be for the negative. We do the same as we did on the input of the power supply. We put two ferrules right here. We pick up our crimping tool. One here, the second one. So far so good. So Cameron, if you can come on the other side, because right now we're going to plug these two wires on the side of the power supply containing the screws. This is going to be for the positive, so we plug it right here. One done, and we're going to have the other one right here. Second one, and then the other ends, they are going to plug in the closest screws on the terminal block. So for the terminal block, we don't need ferrules. We're going to put the spade connectors. So I wanted to make sure about the length of the naked part of the cable. We attach it here. We place one. Oh, sorry, whiskers. We have to fix this before we crimp it, because otherwise it won't work fine. One is done, one more remaining. Supposing the job was done right, we are just going to attach them. We just need a Phillips screwdriver to attach them here. They're just a bit too close, so we have to be a bit patient about it. Until they eventually enter, so we can screw it there, and then we'll do the same for the next one. Because there's not too much room between the parts here. We wanted to have the trainer as compact as possible, so for that reason we have to always be careful about how do we do the wiring. Here we are. And now the last step. If we did all that, we may want to check our work. Okay, so if we want to check our work, you're going to put now the voltmeter on DC. We're going to choose a range on DC. So we're going to see what voltage do we get. Right now, we gave power to our power supply. You can see here an LED going on. And just to make sure, we want to see if the voltage is still present when we press the emergency switch. Okay, so first thing we do, we measure the voltage. We are on DC, we measure the output, so positive here, negative here. We should be able to measure our voltage. We go directly on the terminal block, and it says something like, just a second, says something like 11.8, 11.9. I'm not expecting you to have such a plastic screwdriver, because here there is a third hole, is exactly for the adjustment. So if I just turn this one a bit, I should be able to adjust the size of it. Take a look. It goes higher or lower. So if I want, I can adjust it right away to 12 volts. Or in case you just don't have it, I think that a smaller screwdriver like a Phillips number 0 is going to do the job as well. So even if you don't have the little plastic screwdriver, you just have to find the position of this, and you can adjust using the Phillips screwdriver until you have your 12 volts. We're going to leave it 12.1, it's fine. So now, conclusion, what did we do today? We mounted the emergency switch. We did the wiring from the emergency switch to the power supply and to our power cord, and we checked our output coming on the terminal block being exactly 12 volts. So guess what? Next time we're going to wire the relays around. Thank you very much for the patience. See you next time. Bye-bye.